Welcome to Fanside Presents the Bunn Sons, and I'm Owen.
And I'm Riley.
Welcome to Fanside Presents the Bunn Sons. I'm Owen.
And I'm Riley.
And today we have the longtime pit reporter for Canadian stock car racing and now NASCAR Pinty Series, Todd Lewis. Thank you for being here, Todd.
Oh, and it's a pleasure. It's nice to be with you guys and talk to you for a little bit about car racing.
Nice to talk to you, too. So Riley's going to ask his questions first, then me.
Go right ahead whenever you're ready.
So my first question is, what other motorsports do you cover?
That's a lot of them now, I'm happy to say. It started out with stock cars, though. It was cast car prior to becoming the NASCAR Pinty Series. I'll try and remember them all now. So I've done IndyCar, Formula One, IMSA, World Challenge, Trans Am Series, Indy Lights, Indy Pro 2000, USF 2000, ASA, and Porsche GT3 Cup. And I think there's probably a couple of others that I've forgotten in there, but I've done a whole bunch of them, which is a lot of fun.
That's a lot of big racing names.
It is. It's really lucky that I've been able to do so many cool things in terms of motorsports. The Avion RS1 series is another one I have to mention because I just started doing that last year, but it's a lot of fun being able to do so many different racing series.
My second question is, where does your love of sports and competition come from?
Good question. I've always played sports going back to when I was a kid, your age, and maybe even a little bit younger. I played hockey like most Canadian kids do, a little bit of football and baseball. It was mostly hockey. I didn't come into motorsports and car racing until I was an adult. And I didn't go to the tracks when I was young with my family. They think this is still some strange thing that I go off and do that they don't really participate in. So it was just I've always enjoyed sports. I love playing sports and the competition and being part of it. So this allows me to keep doing that.
Yeah. And my final question is, you have covered many races over the year. What are some memories that have stuck with you?
Well, let's think about, first of all, in NASCAR Pinty Series, before that Canadian Tire Series, and CASCAR. I remember, the background on my screen is the Autodrome Saint Eustache. There was a really memorable race in 2001 that I believe was 2001, that Peter Gibbons in the Canadian Tire car won with most of the body work on the car missing. He got caught up in a crash and kept making pit stops, and they kept fixing things on the car, and he eventually came from the back to the front and won. He went to the back, I don't know how many times, but he managed to come back and win the race. So that was a good one. At the Toronto Indy, the IndyCar race, also in 2001, actually, Michael Andretti was running his first season as a Honda driver. He had switched teams from his longtime team at Newman Haas and went to drive a Honda. And it was the first Molson Indy at the time that I was working. And he got knocked to the back of the field on the first lap. And again, made a bunch of pit stops and came back to win that race. And I got to interview him in pit lane afterwards. So that was pretty memorable.
Yeah,
So that was
cool.
Yeah. So those are two that immediately jump to mind.
So my first question is, we know we ask this similar question a lot, but we really want to know, how long have you been a reporter?
I did my first CASCAR race in 1995. I only did 2 or 3 races that year, and I eventually started doing a little bit more and then did the whole season. And that's the predecessor to the Pinty Series, and that's what started me working in motorsports. So I owe everything to that and being able to start then. So that was the first year I began, was 1995.
So our final question is, do you have race experience driving yourself?
I've not raced professionally. I have done some performance driving schools and some racing schools. that I've been able to enjoy and really participate in because of what I do. I've had the opportunity given to me and presented to me. So I've done that, but I've never raced professionally. It's because I came into it so late. I didn't start when I was young. It's so often a young person's field to get into and be successful at. So I don't know. I don't think you can start in the master class, which is where I'd have to begin right now. So that's so I never raced professionally, but I do enjoy it when I get the opportunity to drive in a high performance car.
Thank you so much for joining us, Todd, and we really hope we can talk with you soon.
It was my pleasure, guys. It was good talking to you. Always great to talk to young race fans.